Now, in the wild, I say they are perfectly capable. You going to go into one of these? Hello? You going to go into this one? That one? Or that one? You make your own mind up. They are so perfectly capable, but what they tend to do is they tend to live. You're going to come here. Go in that one. You're not going in there. Fair enough. Like I say, they are perfectly capable of making their own burrows, but what they tend to do, they live alongside animals called prairie dogs. Now, prairie dogs build huge networks of tunnels all over the place, and they never use them all. So what these guys have learned to do, keep watching. Come on, in the tunnels. It's supposed to be a burrowing dog. What they've learned to do is they've learned to sort of borrow, if you like, some of the tunnels from the prairie dogs. Now, you may think the prairie dogs aren't really particularly happy about that. Some funny mood today. But what? Come over here. Go down that one. Go in that one? No. There's nothing in there. But what that means is that the prairie dogs, the owls basically, sorry I'm losing the track here, the owls get a tunnel and a home for free, and the prairie dogs get an incredibly good lookout. Now these owls are incredibly good, they can obviously get up a lot higher than the prairie dogs. You going to go down this one? There's a long tunnels today for some reason. And so if the owls give an alarm call, all the owls know it's time to vanish, and all the prairie dogs also know it's time to vanish. Now they have a couple of little tricks. One of the creatures that these guys don't particularly like are a creature called a ground squirrel. Now ground squirrels go around looking into the holes, trying to see if they can find these owls to eat or steal their eggs. But the one thing a ground squirrel doesn't like, can you go down? One thing a ground squirrel doesn't like is a rattlesnake. So if there's a rattlesnake in the hole, the ground squirrels won't go anywhere near it. So these guys have learned to mimic the sound of a rattlesnake. So if a ground squirrel comes along, they make their sound of a rattlesnake, the ground squirrel thinks, I'm not going in there, and obviously they're all very safe. He says, no, I'm not a burrow owl, so I'm going to be okay. Little owl today, with long legs. Come on then, up here. One of the other things they do, which is really clever, is they gather dung from around the area, and that may sound very pleasant, but they put it all around the outside of their hole. Now you've got to remember these birds have no sense of smell, as such. But what that does, that encourages dung beetles to come right outside the hole. Now, these owls love to eat dung beetles, so in a sense they're actually bringing food to themselves and doing their own little sort of allotment, if you like. And so when the babies come out, they don't have to stray far from the hole to practice catching the beetles and eating the beetles and feeding themselves and just getting used to everything that goes on. Now they really are incredibly good characters. I've had the privilege of training this little chap, and I had him at home for about 2.5 weeks, and it's probably the funniest 2.5 weeks I've had in a long time. They're absolutely hilarious. But probably the only people that really don't like these birds are, if they live in Florida, you've got greenkeepers. You've got these lovely greens and these pristine bunkers. And then you've got the burrowing owl. And so you tend to get a few extra holes on your golf course, which isn't always the most popular thing in the world. I'm wondering, a couple of weeks back when I was flying him, he went down one of the holes and he came flying out with a very, very cross look on his face. And he had a big lump on his back, and all I could see was all the feathers were all stuck up. And he wasn't very happy, he was flying a bit wobbly. I tried to have a look at what was going on, and I couldn't actually see, and it was just the start of the demo, so I let him carry on for a bit, and he was getting angrier and angrier. And so I caught him up at the end, and I found out that he picked up a passenger, which I'm wondering why he's not so sure today. He picked up a slug. So a big slug about this big had got stuck to his back under his feathers, so he was trying to fly with this massive weight on his back. And he wasn't pleased. I would have loved to have seen the look on the slug's face. He had an absolutely fantastic time flying around the place. Right, well it wasn't much burrowing, but we'll let you off. I'm just going to try and get him back in his box now. You coming in? So I'll just find your nice bit of food for you, and then we'll pop you in. Ready? Good. I'll take them away. I hope you